Hello, everyone, and welcome to Burn the Ship, the podcast that helps entrepreneurs and we introduce them to professionals that can help them to do so. I'm Roderick Ricks, and we have a wonderful guest today, Olivia Wann. How are you doing today?
Great, great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Excellent, excellent. Tell everybody about yourself and your practice.
I'm Olivia Wann. I'm in Tennessee, in rural Tennessee,
Okay.
a law practice, the law office of Olivia Wann and Associates, and I also have a national dental compliance consulting firm that I started 25 years ago, which is Modern Practice Solutions.
Awesome, awesome. Now, we understand that time is one of our most valuable resources. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got on this path.
Well, when I graduated high school at 17, I guess that's rolling back the clock way back. I worked in the courthouse as the deputy clerk and master and basically did clerk duties, secretarial type work. And then I later went to work for a dentist here in our small town. And I
hmm
worked there 14 years as an office manager. And I was also a registered dental assistant.
Okay, okay.
I just decided to grow. I wanted to be a professional woman and have a career. And I really appreciated that early foundation of learning.
hmm
And I discovered that I was pretty good at training, taking
Okay.
information and putting it into a format that people could understand and learn. So I started training dental offices and then saw that there was a niche for compliance. And I submitted some material to a speaking bureau, thinking that what I would write for other speakers
hmm
invited me to do some national speaking. So I actually did 5 tours,
Okay.
been in every state except Alaska. So if
Ah,
someone is listening from Alaska, I would love to
yes.
come and present a program.
I got you. We're gonna make sure to get it out there where you can get that checked off the box. Get you up there in Alaska.
Yeah.
So you're speaking around the country. You're helping with compliance things. Now, was this with another company or was this with your company that you created?
Yeah, I just created my own company when I started training and speaking. And
Mm-hmm.
when I started speaking, that lends itself to developing clients where you go into their practices and assist
Mm-hmm.
them.
Okay.
So I started writing and creating compliance materials and training programs and started growing. And then I
Mm-hmm.
had the great idea that I wanted to go back to school. So I
Mm-hmm.
was older and I was in my 30s and decided to go back to school. So I have a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration.
Mm-hmm.
And I was juggling my new business and trying to grow and then going to school. So it was tough.
Right.
And then when I finished my bachelor's degree, I decided, well, my mother was encouraging me, maybe you should be a lawyer. And I was thinking maybe CPA, lawyer, I don't know.
Right.
So she
Right.
encouraged me. As a matter of fact, she made the appointment for me to take my LSAT, the entrance
Okay.
exams for law school. So I didn't know that there were prep courses for that. So I showed up
Okay.
totally unprepared. I didn't
Oh
have the
man.
correct pencils because I brought a mechanical pencil that clicks and
Mm-hmm.
I just was green and I just took the exams and evidently did well enough that when I applied to law school, I received a letter. Welcome to the Nashville School of Law. Here I am.
Nice.
Didn't really have a
Nice.
plan.
Right. That's awesome that you were able to do that. I know so many people that have had to take courses and courses and crash courses and still didn't make the grade to get it. So you're already telling us you're awesome.
Well, I don't know about that. I worked awfully hard and luckily my
Mm-hmm.
GPA in my undergrad program was very strong. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, when you go back to school as an adult and you're paying for it,
Yes.
try
Yes.
harder. Because we certainly don't want to repeat any classes and we want our grades to show that yes, we've paid for this and we're going to make the best out of it.
Yes, makes a lot of sense. So you already have a thriving career going. You say, hey, I'm going to expand and now I'm going to become an attorney. As you were going through that process, did you have a specific focus that you wanted to focus on or what was the plan after you became an attorney?
Well, I thought that my law degree would help my consulting business because
Mm-hmm.
compliance is based on rules and regulations. And so I thought it would be a good asset to have and skill set. And what I didn't realize is that as soon as I graduated law school, I took the bar. I graduated in December of 2011. I took the bar in February. I passed the first time.
Nice.
Was, I don't know that I would have taken it a second time. So I'm very thankful I passed. And then people started coming to me to do legal work, and
Okay.
I was a bit surprised. So I'm in a small town. I didn't work under another attorney, and
Mm-hmm.
basically just had to learn how to prepare deeds and how to do civil work.
Okay.
And so now at this point, I'm 13 years practicing law,
Mm-hmm.
25 years with my other company, and it does marry well together.
Okay.
For example, when I'm serving a dental office for their OSHA and HIPAA needs, they may want to retain me as an attorney to review an associate contract, or maybe they're leasing a building, or they're
Mm-hmm.
having HR problems. So there's overlap there.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
with that
Okay.
said, I do practice local law. So I am very interested in elder law, which is an
Okay.
area that I think is near and dear to my heart, working with people to make sure they preserve their legacy that they've worked so hard for in their lifetime. And so we do stay busy. People ask me, well, how do you manage two thriving businesses and
Mm-hmm.
manage your time? Well, I think if you're an entrepreneur, you learn how to keep all the
Yes.
balls in the air if that's
That's right.
truly what you want to do. So you
Mm-hmm.
make good use of your time and spend it on things that are meaningful.
Yes, yes, makes a lot of sense. Now, you talked about the two businesses, and I want to dive into both of them, but separately.
Mhm.
So, because what I want to learn more is about the compliant aspect of things. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, is she talking about paperwork or she's talking about making sure that they're putting on the braces correctly? Tell us a little bit more about the consulting aspect so the people that are watching today, if they need that service, they have a better idea of what you do.
Well, for dental practices and medical practices for that matter, OSHA is about employee safety. And so those types of workplaces trigger the bloodborne pathogen standard, the hazard communication standard, fire and emergency, and even active shooter is now part of compliance. And so
Mm-hmm.
basically, my team and I provide online training, live Zoom training, and even in-person training on compliance topics that relate to OSHA. And then we build their plans. So if they need assistance with written plans, we take care of that for them. We
Mm-hmm.
also conduct mock OSHA compliance visits where we simulate what would happen if an OSHA official came in unannounced, and then provide them a confidential work plan so they could make the necessary corrections. And then we
Is
also
it
include HIPAA, so that's a huge
HIPAA?
thing. That's
It's its own thing, its own
uh,
monster.
well, to give you an idea, the first yesterday, the Federal Register was published with HIPAA security updates. The register is 398 pages long.
Mm, mm.
And there's public comment available till March 6th of this year. And then practices, medical, dental, hospitals, and so forth, they have 6 months to get into compliance. So that means all new training, all new policies and procedures to update to align with these new requirements, obtaining new business associate agreements with the provisions that are required to be therein. So
Mm-hmm.
lots of changes. So it keeps us busy as well as the practices that we're serving.
Yeah, so you consume those 390 pages and you provide what is needed for individual dentist practices.
Correct. So I'm going to drill
Nice.
down and provide information for them of what they have to do. So, for
Mm-hmm.
example, in the law, there were, it would say this is addressable versus this is required. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, some of the covered entities felt like, well, if it's addressable, that means it's optional. Why should I
Yes.
incur that expense? So
Mm-hmm.
now the government's made it clear this is all required.
Right, right, right. Makes a lot of sense. Now, if I were to engage you as a dental practice, what does that look like? Are we connected at the hip from this point until the end of my business, or are you staying with me for a year? What does that look like when I bring you and your firm on?
It really depends on the practice. Some of our clients need minimal assistance. Some of our clients, we call them annual audit ready. They continue to engage us year after year, so they can count on the fact that their training has been satisfied, their paperwork is in order, and they have more peace of mind. And some of the clients I've served have been with me 25 years. So we're
Okay.
growing old together. So I see
Yes.
them retiring, and I'm like, well, I'm still at it.
All right, Olivia. Now, this is the last time we're going to say old. We're going to say experienced, okay? We are experienced
There you
at
go.
what you do. You're not old. Now, definitely appreciate you sharing that. Now, as we go into that part, not only do I want it to know what it is that you're doing, I want to find out ways to get you opportunities. Doing the consulting business, who would you say has been a good referral partner for you? Who has sent you over opportunities so if they're watching today, they can connect with you?
I believe there's a variety of sources. One would include dental suppliers and manufacturers,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, as well as CPAs, bookkeepers, people that are in the industry that know that someone is struggling and needs assistance.
Okay.
And as a presenter, I've also presented programs even in the legal world. I
Mm-hmm.
created a lecture on cybersecurity
Okay.
and provide CE events. So that's
Okay.
probably what really drives the market for speaking. I think I did 35 lectures last year.
Okay.
So they're
Awesome.
on a
Awesome.
variety of topics.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you expanding our knowledge on your consulting business. Now, I want to switch over because you are a serial entrepreneur to the practice. Now, it sounds like you help with a lot of aspects when it comes to being an attorney, not just this, because it sounds like you did some real estate stuff, some family law stuff, some attorney stuff. Tell us all about the practice and a couple of those highlights in which you want to share today.
Well, I am extremely interested in estate planning and trust law.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, why? When I first started practicing law and I was probating some estates, I saw that there were multiple families who thought they would inherit their family farm or their family home, and it was recovered by the state because their loved one used long-term care and the state paid for it. So it is
Okay.
a misconception that Medicaid pays for everything when it's really more like a no interest loan.
Okay.
And so, that person might pass away after using long-term care benefits, and then the state sends out a letter stating that, hey, there's 100,000 or 120,000 owed to the state because they use Medicaid benefits. And so I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to learn, how do we prevent that from happening? Because you work your whole life, and maybe the greatest thing you have to show for it are your children and your home that you reach to pay off.
Okay.
And they would lose their homes in these types of cases. So I learned how to do Medicaid asset protection trusts,
Mm-hmm.
irrevocable trust, learning how to move things out of the estate when it's appropriate, and how to give guidance of what not to do. Like, it's not a good idea to quit claim your house to your children. That's not a good
Yeah.
idea because they
Okay.
lose the capital gain step up basis. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's, things that people need to be educated on to pick out an estate plan that works for them. And everybody's different. You can't
Mm-hmm.
come up with a one size fits all because one individual might not have children, or maybe their children are financially well off and they want to benefit a charitable organization. So I really like the study of elder law and estate planning and helping
Mm-hmm.
families because I grew up in this community, and so when I go shopping at the local Piggly Wiggly, I see people that I went to school with, and I
Mm-hmm.
know their parents, and I know their children, And so
Hmm.
it's nice to be able to help families out in a small way.
Okay. Now, I do have a question. What age would you say would be the best to go ahead and get a will and or trust?
I think you need to have some kind of estate plan as soon as you're an adult because
Okay.
it makes things so troublesome when there's nothing in place. And let's say someone ended up in the hospital. Who has legal authority to make decisions on your behalf if that individual could not do so for themselves? So definitely
Hmm.
need to have healthcare power of attorney documents in place and a basic will. And then consider other options, especially as we age, whether you want to avoid probate and use a revocable living trust, which works well,
Hmm.
especially if you own property in multiple states, or you're
Hmm.
looking at asset protection through an irrevocable trust,
Okay.
or even thinking about putting some rental properties in an LLC. So I think
Hmm.
that it really depends on what kinds of assets that you have. But at any age in adulthood, you need to talk to an attorney about preserving what you're working hard for.
Okay. Okay. Makes a lot of sense. And like I say, you're a very dynamic person because you already had a thriving business. You decided to go back to school, become an attorney. And I know we have focused on elder care, we've focused on estate planning. Are there any other aspects of your attorney firm that you would like to share and highlight today?
Well, I love dealing with HR management. I was an office manager for so many years, and so we understand how troublesome it is when someone doesn't show up for work. How do you deal with
Hmm.
that? We're
Yes.
we're in a labor crunch. There's a shortage of skilled people and certainly a shortage of licensed individuals in healthcare.
Hmm.
So I work closely with doctors in trying to deal with this labor shortage and be in compliance with scope of duties as outlined by the state, and also trying to encourage practices to have better benefit packages so we can attract talent and keep them, and
Hmm.
yet hold them accountable to performing well. The
Okay.
expectation that people give us their best.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, I know there's other things that you can help inside of the attorney realm. It seems like you are just a wealth of knowledge on all of these things. It seems like if they have an issue with pretty much anything, they can come to you. And if you can't get it done, at least you know who to put them in the right place. And like I said, I've done these interviews so many times, and I've had entrepreneurs on before, but you have even more entrepreneurial things going on. Did you want to share anything else about some of those other entrepreneurial things you got going on?
Well, I have a farm. I have a small farm, 60 acres. And
Okay.
6 years ago, we had a building on the farm that we were not utilizing. And I
Mhm.
talked my husband into letting me remodel and create a cabin to Airbnb it. And he said, who in the world is going to want to come out here in the middle of nowhere and rent this cabin? Well,
Hmm.
6 years later, he's glad we did it.
Yes.
And so it's really
Awesome.
a fun place where
Hmm.
uh, people enjoy seeing the horses in the backyard of the cabin. And they also enjoy the solitude, the quietness, the nature walks. And it's a
Hmm.
way for me to have the farm earn its keep, so to speak, because I do
Yes.
have a horse habit that can be costly.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So
Yes.
I enjoy the cabin and having guests come back year after year, making that their destination.
Now, because it's a farm, I want to know what is your favorite thing to grow on the farm?
Well, I say farm, we have mainly animals,
Okay.
but I do have a garden and I grow herbs, and we're planting a bigger garden this year because we like to put away the herbs and different vegetables like that. So that's fun. Um,
Hmm.
the animals are the big focus, having horses. If I was younger, I would have more, but I like
Okay.
to buy and sell, and also I have goats and miniature pigs and
Hmm.
dogs and cats, and yeah, I like farm animals.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well rounded. I've always had in my mind if I had a farm, I was going to take a huge patch of it and put down sunflowers. I always
Yeah,
thought that was just beautiful. Always thought that was a beautiful thing. So if you are going to grow something over there separate, just try some sunflowers and then take a picture. Let me see what it looks like.
yeah, we're trying to improve our sunflowers. I tried a couple of summers and the deer really like the sunflowers, and so we're
Mm.
trying to make our sunflower patches larger. And then last year I planted red clover, so I'm
Okay.
anxious to see what it looks like this year, having rolling hills of red clover.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome to see. Now I got to get the pictures. Now I got to get the information so I can come stay at the cabin
There you go.
and check all these things out. Now I truly do appreciate you telling us all about those businesses and all of those things that you've been through getting up to this particular point. And I am confident, Olivia, that you have acquired and nurtured a bunch of different skills. This particular show is for entrepreneurs who have gotten going and have possibly gotten stuck. Do you mind sharing some of those skills that you have acquired that they can add to their mix and hopefully grow their business?
Well, quite simply, never give up. If there's something that you want out of life, really, nothing should stand in the way. And I think I'm an example of that. I come from living in a small single wide trailer with my grandmother and remember the wood stove and her hanging the laundry in the house because she couldn't afford to run the dryer. And I wanted to grow and I wanted to be successful. And you really need to surround yourself with other experts and read as much material you can that can enhance your growth. And when you're building your business, look for people to work in your business that have even better skill sets than you. Never fear that they will outdo you or outshine you because they will only help you get your business to the next level and make them feel like they're a part of it. It's teamwork. It's not you versus them. It's the group that drives that business forward. And so
Mhm.
that would be I guess the takeaway is don't give up and figure out how you can get over those hurdles.
Yes, yes. You have to continue to go. The only time you truly fail is when you quit. So I definitely appreciate that. And you are a beacon of success. So hopefully everyone that is listening today can take hold of that knowledge. Now, you shared with us about all of those businesses that you have. And there is truly a purpose and a reason why we do all of these things, which is this thing that we call life. So let's just say that you have gotten even in Alaska, all those dental practices compliant. You've helped all the local people with their wills and trusts and small business things. What is it that Olivia would do with her time outside of the farm animals?
I do like to I'd like to start traveling for fun, not just work. I have
Hmm.
traveled extensively over the last 2.5 decades. And so this year I'm going to Sicily, where my grandmother was from, to the
Okay.
little village where her family were. And I want to try to recreate in my mind what it was like there. And
Hmm.
so that's the new thing that I'm trying to accomplish is to do a little bit of meaningful travel and also showing my horses. So even though I've ridden for years, I've
Hmm.
humbled myself to take dressage lessons and I look
Okay.
forward to showing my horses this summer.
Awesome. Awesome. That is going to be magnificent. Now, talking about Italy instantly made me think about food. I said, rural Tennessee, farm, country girl. What would you say is the best dish that you make?
For me, my
Yes.
husband says it's lasagna, but actually,
Okay.
quite honestly, the cook is my husband. And
Okay. Okay. Okay.
makes these beautiful meals, and I love to take photos of them because the presentation is always gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Lasagna it is. So when I come to the cabin, it's already
Yeah,
gonna have a pan of it already in there ready.
a bottle of wine and a pan of lasagna.
Excellent, excellent. Now, I appreciate you sharing that. Even, peeling back the onion a little bit on your personal life and some of those things that you like. If someone that's watching the show has questions about the compliance, questions about some of those things in Tennessee that you can help them with as far as an attorney, or want to visit the cabin, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
My email address is olivia@oliviawann.com. And my phone number is 931-232-4529. My main website is oliviawann.com. And then, of course, the consulting firm is modernpracticesolutions.com. And if you want to visit the farm site, it's dwsprings.com, which stands for Dogwood Springs Farm.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Appreciate you sharing that. Appreciate you coming on today and telling us about yourself. And we always honor our guests by giving them the last word. So please look into the camera and tell the people something good.
I wish you the best. If you're looking at starting a business, come up with a plan and envision yourself in that place and never grow weary and tired. Just keep going and make it happen.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today, Olivia. And to all of the people that are watching today, thanks and be kind.